Part 42. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 411. After listening, the two of them first flashed a trace of horror in their eyes, followed by fear and trembling, and those grateful expressions were mixed in these emotions, which seemed extremely small. However, the two of them immediately came directly to Li Bai without any hesitation, knelt on their knees, and said respectfully, "Eternal Mountain, meet the Lord Bai, thank you for saving my daughter, this kindness is beyond repayment. Eternal Can You, meet the Lord Bai, thank you for saving my daughter. No problem, get up. For me, it's just a matter of convenience." Li Bai nodded and said, "I really didn't expect that in the end, it was the Lord Bai who saved us. Yes, it's really an extremely ironic ending. First, he destroyed the eternal land, and then saved us." The two of them were communicating cautiously with their spiritual consciousness. Don't you hate me? I destroyed your eternal land." Then, Li Bai looked at the two and said, his expression as calm as ever, without the slightest disturbance. After a long silence, Yang Hangshan slowly said, "To be honest with you, Lord Bai, at that time, there was naturally hatred. After all, that was the place where we had lived for countless epochs, and it was also our only ancestral land. But we also know that all this was caused by the eternal land itself. To be honest, I hate those attacking factions more. Unfortunately, the power of our faction is too weak. And Lord destroyed the eternal land. All this is their fate, and our fate. So many epochs have passed, and now these hatreds have long been wiped out. Now, we will not resent Lord, but only thank you. Yes, Lord, you saved us, saved Ling Mei, and even destroyed those attacking factions. How could we hate you?" Yang Hongkanyu echoed on the side. "If, at that time, their tentacles did not reach out to the heavens and the worlds, perhaps, I would not have taken action. But, they touched this taboo, so the eternal land must be destroyed." Li Bai said lightly. "We naturally know this, they should not extend their dirty hands to the heavens and the worlds, but unfortunately, their ambitions are too big. We have also persuaded them, but it was all in vain. Now that I think about it, the sword of the adult seems to be still vivid, which makes us shocked." Eternal Mountain, after recalling that sword, said in fear, "This sword can be said to be a sword that can destroy the era. Perhaps even those innate origins may not have such power. Although they were chased out of the eternal land by those who attacked the faction at that time, after all, they were summoned by the eternal land, so they could naturally check the current situation at any time. Okay, now that the spirits are dead, what are your plans?" Li Bai looked at the two and asked slowly. "Sir, we don't know where to go. If you don't mind, we will follow you." "That's right, we are willing to be slaves for life." After the two looked at each other, they said very seriously, "After all, they are now really wanderers and homeless. Following Li Bai is the safest way. In one point, following Li Bai will definitely have great benefits. Forget about slaves. After all, you are creators. It's a waste of talent. But since you are willing, then follow me in the future. I also like Ling Mei, this little girl." Li Bai said lightly. "Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Woo woo, sir, it's great, Ling Mei can finally be with you again." Ling Mei said excitedly. After getting along with Li Bai for a while, she has already regarded Li Bai as a relative. Of course, she still has her own little tricks. By the way, do you know why the attacking faction suddenly wanted to radiate the attack in all directions? Logically speaking, you wouldn't have any problems with resources or cultivation. How did you split?" Li Bai then asked slowly. "Sir, we do know a little about this." After thinking for a while, Yang Hangshan said seriously, Oh, tell me. I remember the reason for the split was a prophecy at the time. Prophecy. Yes, the general meaning of that prophecy is that one day in the future, the entire era, no matter which origin world, will fall into chaos, and no world can escape. It is somewhat similar to the War of All Worlds predicted by the Heavens and All Worlds. Li Bai said secretly in his heart. Only by finding something can we guarantee our own safety. Yang Hangshan stroked his chin and said slowly, his eyes were dark and unclear. The root of all this is this prophecy. If there was no such prophecy, perhaps there would not be the later incident of Li Bai destroying the Eternal Land with one sword. Something. What is it exactly? Li Bai asked slowly with his eyes fixed. A piece of memory fragment. Yang Yangshan pursed his lips and said. What did you say? A piece of memory fragment, are you sure it's a memory fragment? Li Bai's tone suddenly became sharp and high-pitched. That's right, sir. We couldn't have remembered it wrongly. The content of that prophecy was witnessed by all the explorers and creatures in our eternal land. Eternal Kanyu echoed, her beautiful eyes full of seriousness. Hearing the seriousness in the two people's tone, Li Bai also understood that the other party could not lie, and they didn't have the courage. Where did you see this prophecy? Sir, we don't know the specific reason. We only know that it was a piece of text brought back by the four eternal lords, which seemed to be engraved on something. After thinking for a while, Yang Hangshan shook his head and sighed. It was a pity that the text disappeared not long after it appeared, and no creature could save it. Can you lend me this memory? Then, a glimmer of light flashed in Li Bai's eyes. He had a hunch that this text might be very important to him. After all, it was about the four words memory fragments. My lord, this memory disappeared in our minds after the prophetic text disappeared. Although we remember this incident, there is no picture, so we can only narrate it in the form of language. Yang Yangshan pulled the corner of his mouth and said regretfully. What else is weird? Could it be that the text has its own intelligence? Dijun asked puzzledly after hearing such a weird thing. No, it's not that the text has intelligence, but the creature who engraved this text, adding the law of forgetting to it. Law of forgetting. Why does it sound familiar? I remember, isn't this the Forbidden Avenue? After thinking for a while, Dijun suddenly said. The Forbidden Avenue that can make the creator forget. It seems that the creature who engraved this text is not less powerful than the transcendent, or it is still an originator. Li Bai said slowly. That's really a bit scary. Okay, don't worry about this matter, I will personally explore it in the future. Yes, sir. Okay, you go back first, just go directly to the Fairy Sword Palace. I'm going to take back the World Tree and World Will from the upper world. Then, Li Bai said to everyone. Okay, sir, we'll leave first. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 412. At this moment, the eternal upper realm. The dense black shadows that covered the sky occupied most of the sky. Countless creatures took a closer look and saw that they were attacking people from the spirit tribe. However, the number of people who returned this time was obviously much smaller than at the beginning. Many creatures. Countless creatures looked up, their expressions suddenly horrified, their eyes filled with disbelief. Gradually, a terrifying thought emerged in their hearts. It's over so soon. Could it be that, the spiritual race has been destroyed? Damn it, no way, it's so fast. How long has passed? That's the spirit race, not a lowly race. It should be. If the spirit clan is not destroyed, according to the character of the spirit clan, it is impossible for them to come back alive. They will definitely be annihilated. It seems that the spirit race has really been destroyed. While countless living beings were still guessing, Emperor Jun Taishu's voice spread through the sky, through the void, and spread to every corner of the eternal upper world. Every living being in the eternal upper world, we have lived up to expectations. The spirit race has been destroyed. From now on, the upper world will no longer be under the control of the spirit clan, and there will no longer be the unscrupulous plundering of the spirit clan. Today is also the beginning of a new era in the eternal upper world. And we have finally become true eternal beings from the upper world. Boom. This piece of news seems to carry the power of collapsing mountains and cracking the earth, impacting the fragile heart of every living being. At this moment, the hearts of all living beings are in a state of speechlessness, excitement, horror, all kinds of emotions are mixed, and eventually evolve into a silent and fiery carnival. Even most of the living beings, after hearing this news, the aura of direct excitement was disordered, the avenue was chaotic, and finally fainted. More creatures had tears in their eyes. They were finally able to get rid of the shackles of the spirit clan and finally succeeded in becoming their own masters. It was successful, it was really successful. The spirit race was finally destroyed, ha 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 ha. This abominable race has finally disappeared, and our eternal upper world has finally returned to a pure land. Some of the ancient creatures in the upper world could not express their inner excitement, and their eyes were filled with the light of memories. Some even experienced the stage when the original way of heaven was destroyed by the spirit clan. No one knows how much they hate the spirit clan. They are the natives of the upper world, while the Eldar are the intruders and invaders. Today, these invaders were finally beaten away. Not only that, they died in this land, and their dirty and sinful souls will be trapped here forever to atone for their sins. A new era, this moment, is definitely a new era. Awesome! Awesome! At this moment, countless rays of light slowly fell from the sky. Contained in these rays of light were the treasures of heaven and earth that the spirit clan had collected for countless epochs. It was like a blessing from heaven, but it was aimed at all creatures. Divine King Technique, the origin of lower avenues, Divine King Gold, Quasi-Emperor Elixirs, blood of various constitutions, all these things are available, even Imperial Arts, the origin of superior avenues, there are not a few of them. Of course, the most precious wealth was naturally divided by the imperial clan like Daijun Taishu and others. However, even these things are enough for countless souls to practice and reach a higher level. These opportunities are the wealth that the spirit race has plundered from our upper world for countless epochs. Today, it is returned to the general public. Whoever gets it first belongs to whom. Each living being can only take one piece. Of course, it cannot be robbed or killed. Otherwise, there will be consequences. As the words of Emperor Huntaishu spread, countless creatures became red-eyed. This is the wealth of the spirit clan. Who is not greedy? Even those creatures who had fainted immediately woke up. Ha ha ha, this is my God King technique. Damn it, Imperial technique, I got the Imperial technique, ha 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 ha, it's so developed. A young man grabbed a ball of light and shouted with great excitement. Suddenly, countless greedy eyes looked at this young man. Ha ha, kid, you can't control it, leave it to me. An old man who had been stuck in the Quasi-Emperor for an unknown amount of time said greedily that with the blessing of this Emperor's art, he might be able to break through a realm again and get one step closer to the Emperor. Then, just as he was about to take action, in an instant, the light group wisps of death rays erupted from within, and everything about this Quasi-Emperor was instantly penetrated. Just like that, a Quasi-Emperor fell instantly, without even having time to see clearly or resist. Damn it, he's dead, a Quasi-Emperor died like this. Oh my god, this is so humming scary. Fortunately, I was ready to snatch it just now. Thanks to this Quasi-Emperor for coming forward. This kind of thing happened in countless places, and of course the final outcome was the same. At this moment, all the creatures gave up the idea of robbing. By. Ha 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 ha, I got it too. Little friends, I wonder if you are willing to exchange. We can exchange for anything. Although they don't allow snatching, they don't say they don't allow trading. Some weak creatures also knew that such things would definitely not be retained in the future, so they simply exchanged some cultivation resources or other things with those big families. At this moment, the news of the demise of the spirit race spread rapidly to the entire upper and lower worlds at an incomprehensible speed. After just over 10 minutes, every creature in the eternal upper and lower worlds knew the news of the demise of the spirit race, and then, the news also spread to the entire universe. Countless ancient creatures stared with their eyes wide open. You know, that was the spirit race, a race that controlled the eternal upper world for several epochs, and there was a half-step creator in the race who almost stood at the top of the universe. Even so, it still perished. Damn, is this true? The spirit clan was really destroyed. Such news cannot be false. It has spread throughout the heavens and the worlds. Not only that, no one from the spirit clan has come out to refute the rumor. But even if the entire emperor clan of the eternal upper realm unites, they can't destroy the spirit clan. Let alone the half-step creator, even the spirit clan's Taisha formation may not be broken. Indeed, only the Emperor Jun clan can fight. Although the Emperor Jun clan also has a half-step creator, neither side can kill the other. What's more, the top forces of the spirit clan, the power of the Daijun clan is much stronger than that of the Daijun clan. They have plundered countless wealth. However, for us, this is definitely good news. First of all, the half-step creator is dead. Secondly, the road to the myriad worlds is about to begin, and we have one less major competitor. Ha ha ha, yes, how could I almost forget this? In this case, maybe we should thank the Daijun clan. I'm still curious, how did they destroy the spirit clan? Such a secret is probably not something we can explore. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 413. On the other side, the great emperor of the immortal realm also received the news of the destruction of the spiritual clan, and then they thought of Li Bai's incident. It was definitely done by my lord. My lord successfully destroyed the Eldar clan. Ha ha ha, this is really a double surprise. Yeah, I couldn't contact you at that time, and I almost scared me to death. In this way, the spirit clan is destroyed, we have one less hidden danger, and the adults are also in peace, which is great. On the other side, in the inner world of Wanqi Academy. Ha 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 ha, Sister Nanyi, the master is fine, that's great. Let me tell you, with the master's strength, who has the ability to kill him? De Wang waved his dog paw and said extremely excitedly. Smelly master, I was really scared to death at that time. I don't want to remember that kind of rotten smell anymore. Nanyi vented his anger at first, and then his frown slowly relaxed, and a smile finally appeared on his face. Speaking of which, have your affairs in the eternal upper realm been completed now? Qingxian stood aside and said with a twinkling light in his eyes. Absolutely. Although, we don't know the specific reason why the master went to the eternal upper world. The destruction of the spirit clan is the only thing we know. Now that it has been completed, maybe the master will be able to return to the fairyland soon. I can finally see my master again. I feel so lonely without my master. De Wang scratched the dog's head and said lonely. Okay, since you are fine now, we can prepare for the road to all realms with peace of mind. By the way, which geniuses from our fairyland are going to participate this time? Nanyi asked slowly. Although the road to the world is divided into several levels, the most important, and the one that countless creatures value most, is the level of the God King realm. After all, this is the future and hope of every world. These young geniuses represent an important reason why the world can continue to reproduce in the future. There are a total of 40 people in Wanqi Academy. Among them, Mei Xian and others are the most powerful. There are probably hundreds of geniuses who meet the requirements in the entire Qingtian immortal realm. Looking at it this way, there are probably 1 or 2,000 talented geniuses in the entire immortal realm. Qingxian thought for a while and said slowly. To be honest, in the entire immortal realm, there are only a dozen or so people who are most capable of obtaining the final reward. For example, Mei Xian, Xiao Suiai, Jun Wuodao, Zhang Changkan, Xuanhuan Minjiao, and the dozen or so geniuses from the Immortal Clan, God Clan, Demon Clan, and Monster Clan. He, this time, Xiao Suiai must get the final reward. After all, he is the master's apprentice. Don't talk big words. Xiao Suiai is indeed very strong, but there is heaven and there are people outside the world. The geniuses of those hidden races are not weak at all. Take the eternal world as an example. I remember that there seems to be one from the Daijun clan, the genius of the era. At this moment, Emperor Wu slowly appeared in front of Nanyi and said, "Old man Nothingness, why are you here?" De Wang said doubtfully. "Why, Wanqi Academy, I can't come. By the way, do you know about the spiritual clan?" The Emperor of Nothingness said slowly. "Nonsense, it's probably spread all over the world, of course we know about it." De Wang rolled his eyes and said, "That's good. Since my best friend is okay, next, we have to discuss the road to all realms." Discuss. How to discuss? Several messages have surfaced on the stone tablet that is the starting point of the road to all realms. The Emperor of Nothingness said slowly. "Holy shit, I just said that when the master was in trouble, we went to find you. You were not in the Immortal Palace. Where did your feelings go?" De Wang said with a grin. "Because I firmly believe that my best friend will be fine, even more than you do. Okay, let's not talk about this anymore. This time on the road to all realms, we can't fight alone, we must form an alliance." "Why?" Nanyi asked doubtfully. "Because, the reward this time is so amazing, the final reward is the Great Emperor's crown." "The Great Emperor's crown? Damn it, it's really fake. Are you crazy? The Emperor's crown is out." Nanyi and others said in surprise. "That's right, not only that, there are also several emperors, as well as the blood of the 6 top physiques and other amazing rewards." Hiss. Hearing these words, De Wang and others' breathing suddenly became rapid. "No, this matter is too big and important. Let's wait for the master to come back to discuss it." Qingxian frowned and said seriously. That's okay, but I'm afraid that my best friend won't be able to come back in time. I believe that master will definitely come back. At this moment, within the Immortal Sword Heavenly Palace. Ha ha ha, the wealth we gained from this war is so rich. After all, this is the spiritual clan, how can this wealth not be huge? I really didn't expect that their spirit race actually has a complete son. There is also a complete Taiyan. Countless emperors smiled so hard that they almost reached behind their ears. These trophies were enough for their imperial clan to create several great emperors again. One can imagine how terrifying the treasure house of the spirit clan is. Okay, everyone, you should know that we have these things, we are all adults, I hope you Emperor Jun Taishu looked around at the emperors and did not say the last sentence, but there was an undisguised threat in his tone, and a dangerous light flashed in his eyes. Emperor Jun Taishu, don't worry, we can still distinguish between big and small kings. Yes, Taishu, what's more, all of us together are probably not enough for adults to fight. Yes, that's right, please rest assured. Countless emperors naturally said the following words of Emperor Jun Taishu. To be honest, Emperor Jun Taishu was overthinking. After learning about Li Bai's identity, who dared to have any other ideas? Don't look at them as emperors, immortals, mythical emperors, or even supreme, but in Li Bai's eyes, they are no different from ants. That's the best. Emperor Jun Taishu nodded after hearing this. Okay, in that case, you should go back to your respective imperial clans and get yourself together. After all, you have suffered too much damage in this battle. Since the Taishu patriarch has spoken, we will naturally follow his orders. Afterwards, only the emperors of the 5 imperial clans and the people around Li Bai stayed behind, while the rest of the emperors returned to their own imperial clans and prepared to recuperate in seclusion. After all, most of them had suffered irreversible damage. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 414. I didn't expect that I, Xuanhuan, would be able to personally participate in such a war in my life. It's really like a dream. Emperor Zilan said with emotion, a great emperor might not be able to participate in this kind of war even if he falls. And as long as you participate and don't die, what you get will definitely be multiplied countless times. Brother Xuanhuan, you are right. I, the immortal Emperor Xuanhuan, have been alive for such a long time, and this is the first time I have participated in the war to overthrow the ancient race. However, if there is no adult, how can we dare to come? Participate. Immortal Emperor Xuanhuan narrowed his eyes slightly and said, in the final analysis, it was only because of the presence of the great father Li Bai that they dared to attack the spirit clan. Yes, but this is our luck and the Eldar's misfortune. The other side. Old man Taishu, tell me what happened to keep us here. The emperor of the Mu family asked doubtfully. I want to discuss with you about the road to all realms in the near future. Emperor Jun Taishu stared at the emperors in the upper world and said slowly. Hearing this, all the emperors patted their heads and almost forgot about this. I almost forgot, there is this important thing. Let me think about it, there should only be 2 or 3 years left before the road to all realms opens. Maybe it won't take 2 or 3 years yet. What are we going to do this time? Still fighting on our own as before? The demon fairy glanced at the emperors with her beautiful eyes, then turned her attention to the Emperor Jun clan and asked slowly. Just when Daijun Taishu was about to answer, the void of the heavenly palace was slowly torn apart, and Daijun, the eternal band, the eternal mountain, and the eternal Kanyu slowly walked out of it. Ancestor! We have met, Ancestor Daijun! Suddenly, all the emperors shouted respectfully. In front of me, there is no need to talk about etiquette. I am already an old man with half a foot in hell. The future of the world depends on you. Daijun shook his head and said. Ancestor Daijun, you are trying to hurt us. Yes, if it weren't for you in this battle, we probably wouldn't have been able to survive. Sir, show up. The emperors were immediately frightened and said, no matter how arrogant they are, no matter how talented they are just ants in front of a half-step creator who has lived for an unknown number of epochs. Ancestor, who are these two? Daijun Taishu looked at Eternal Mountain and Eternal Kanyu and said doubtfully. These two are my biological parents. The Eternal Man looked at the emperors and said slowly. Hello, my name is Eternal Mountain. Eternal Kanyu. Yan Jingbing's parents looked at the emperors and said with a smile, they had covered their auras, so the emperors could not detect any realm. However, These two names are enough to make the emperors fearful, shocked, and even horrified. Fortunately, they also knew about eternal parents in advance and knew that they were both creators. "We have met Senior Eternal," the emperors said respectfully to the two of them. "It doesn't have to be like this, we are just homeless people now." Eternal Mountain shook his head slightly and said, "Ancestor, since the eternal parents have been rescued, doesn't it mean that the spirit has been?" "That's right, it has been destroyed by the adults. But he committed suicide himself." Dijun nodded and said. Suddenly, the emperor's breathing became rapid. Although they knew that after Li Bai appeared, his spirit would definitely die, they were still extremely shocked after hearing the word suicide. After all, suicide should be the most humiliating way to die. However, depending on who the target is, committing suicide in front of Li Bai is undoubtedly the most decent and dignified death. "Okay, let's not talk about this anymore. Did you just talk about the road to all realms?" Dijun frowned and said. "Yes, ancestor, on the previous road to all realms, we all fought on our own. This time, my idea is to form an alliance." Dijun Taishu nodded and said. "Why?" "Because, Your Excellency once told me that the world will be different this time, and the danger will be greater." "More dangerous?" Dijun rolled his eyes, not understanding the meaning of this sentence. "Because, the origin of creation." Eternal Biao said slowly from the side. "Creation origin? You mean, this time on the road to all realms, the origin of creation will appear?" Dijun said with his eyes widened. "Yes, Your Excellency told me that this time on the road to all realms, the complete origin of creation will appear." Upon hearing these words, Dijun's heart instantly became hot and his breathing became rapid. The complete source of creation is the biggest temptation for a half-step creator like him. After all, if he can integrate this complete source of creation, he might be able to break through to become a creator. This is definitely the deadliest temptation. Doesn't that mean that the ultimate rewards in other battlefields will be more attractive? Dijun looked at Yanjing and asked. "It's almost the same. In the past, on the road to all realms, there was an emperor at the stage of God King and Quasi-Emperor. This time there are probably more. Maybe there will be another, the Great Emperor's crown." Eternal Biao said slowly. "The Great Emperor's crown." Hearing these four words, the emperors took a deep breath unconsciously, and immediately had the idea of stripping the throne. Of course, it was just a flash. The Great Emperor's crown, this is something more against the will of heaven than the heavenly Dao crown. It is not an exaggeration to call it a treasure of the times. After all, the heavenly Dao crown can only allow the user to become the son of the heavenly Dao and obtain various adventures and opportunities in this world. However, the Great Emperor's crown of the heavens and myriad worlds can allow any living being, even a mortal, a blade of grass, a drop of water, a grain of dust, to become a great emperor directly on the spot, and when traveling through the heavens and myriad worlds in the future, they can also encounter various more terrifying opportunities and adventures. For example, a great emperor in the Taigo Emperor list accidentally obtained the Great Emperor's crown, and directly ascended to the Eternal Emperor list after becoming an emperor, and his body was not a living being, but just a dogtail grass without any intelligence. In the endless eras of the heavens and the worlds, the Great Emperor's crown only appeared a few times in the Chaos era, and since then, it has never appeared again. No wonder they want to form an alliance. If we fight alone, we will never fall into the hands of our upper world. Yes, but in this way, the road to the world this time will be more tragic and more dangerous. If you are not careful, you may fall into the abyss forever." The emperors then said worriedly. "Damn it, in the past few years, we must let the immortal king practice in seclusion. He must not come out until he becomes the eternal God King. I think that among the geniuses of our family, Wu Yai has the best chance to get the Great Emperor's crown." Don't underestimate the geniuses of other worlds, especially those hidden races. When they know that the great emperor's crown will appear this time, they will definitely let the geniuses in the clan wake up and participate. Among these strong geniuses, there will definitely be epical geniuses, who are only strong and not weak. Emperor Juntaisha frowned and said, his eyes full of worry. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 415. Okay, everyone, let's wait until the Lord comes back to discuss this. However, I guess we won't have a chance to win the Emperor's crown this time. Dijun said with a sigh. Ancestor Daijun, what do you mean? Yeah, why is it no longer with us? It's already been sent before it even starts. The emperors asked in confusion. Haha, have you forgotten the relationship between the immortal realm and adults? Do you think the adults will help us or the fairyland? Dijun smiled and reminded. In an instant, the emperor's mind suddenly shut down, and they suddenly realized that they had forgot this most important thing. In all the worlds, as long as there is a being who knows something about Li Bai, who doesn't know that the relationship between Li Bai and the immortal realm can be said to be reversed. Damn it, I forgot about the relationship between the immortal realm and the adults. Yes, Your Excellency must have helped immortal realm win the great emperor's crown. Oh, what a pity. The emperors smiled bitterly and said that they did not think that their genius had the strength to snatch the crown of the great emperor from the hands of the genius of the immortal realm. So, let's focus on other rewards. After all, the throne is not bad, and I can become an emperor in my own world. At this moment, Li Bai's figure slowly appeared in front of the emperors. Grown-ups! Grown-ups! Upon seeing this, the emperors hurriedly shouted. What are you talking about? Li Bai glanced at the helpless expressions on the faces of the emperors and asked doubtfully. Such an adult. Immediately, Dijun told Li Bai what happened. I see, you are worried about this. However, you are indeed right. This great emperor's crown must be from the immortal realm. After all, this reward was given by me to the road to all realms. Li Bai said with a smile. Sure enough, when the emperors heard Li Bai's words, a trace of disappointment flashed in their eyes. However, this disappointment was fleeting. They also understood that their relationship with Li Bai, the eternal upper world and Ant Li Bai, far inferior to the immortal realm. However, after hearing what Li Bai said next, the emperor's expressions froze and they were dumbfounded. Sir, what did you just say? You mean, that great emperor's crown, was given by you? Why, is this surprising? Li Bai said calmly. Hearing this, the emperors immediately recognized this sentence after thinking of Li Bai's identity. After all, this was Li Bai. You shouldn't be surprised if you can do some shocking things. However, there is no need for you to be depressed. Although there is only one great emperor's crown, the other rewards are not bad at all. Take this level of the God King realm as an example. There are 9 sources of taboo avenues, 6 top-level blood sources, 10 emperors, and hundreds of quasi-emperors. Your genius is completely you can get one of these. So, you don't have to worry, you won't get any great rewards. Li Bai said slowly. Hearing Li Bai's words, the eyes of the emperors instantly lit up. They could not have imagined that the rewards at the God King level this time would be so rich, breaking the rules. By the way, sir, what are these 6 top physiques? The demon fairy asked slowly. When I think about it, there seems to be the feathered immortal body, the Daogiwan body, the chaos body of 10,000 swords, the chaos divine thunder body, the 9-turn exquisite heart, and the eternal divine body. After thinking for a while, Li Bai said slowly. Damn, you really have a top-notch physique. Damn, this is so mouth-watering. Especially the emperor of the Qin family couldn't hide the light in his eyes after hearing about the eternal divine body. After all, their emperor's daughter is now the eternal divine body. As long as she can get the original blood of the eternal divine body, she can be promoted to eternal divine body. Without this drop of original blood, I don't know how long it will take until the year of the monkey and the year of the horse. The emperor of the Qin family also had the same idea as the emperor of the Wanjian section. This Wanjian chaos body was so suitable that Tuguchu failed. Okay, you can discuss these things among yourselves. Where are Zilin, Nalanyan, Kanglan, and the others? Li Bai looked at Emperor Zilin and asked slowly. Sir, they are in other halls. Emperor Zilin immediately replied. His eyes were full of excitement at this moment. He had already guessed Li Bai's intention. Call them over here. I have taken back the world tree and the will of the world from the upper world. This time, it's time for Kanglan to inherit the heavenly way of the upper world. Hearing these words, Han Shui and Di Shishin's eyes suddenly condensed. This meant that they were about to start guarding Kanglan and start fulfilling their contract with Li Bai. You two, do you still remember your agreement with me? Li Bai looked at Han Shui and Emperor Shishin and asked slowly. Sir, we dare not forget. Yes, sir, how could we forget it? Besides, you gave us all your surprises, so we don't dare to forget them either. Han Shui and Di Shishin immediately said seriously. After all, Li Bai had given them both a surprise before when they arrived at the originator's tomb. It can even be said to be surprising. Because those are two complete versions of the first roads, which are exactly the same as their previous lives. Moreover, these two new roads are deeper and the destination is further away than the previous roads they took before. This means that if the two of them break through to the Forerunners, their strength will definitely be much stronger than in their previous lives. For this reason, the two of them were extremely puzzled. How did Li Bai know the two people's first path, and how did he create it? That's good. You two should try your best to prepare. After all, this will be an extremely long era. Soon, Emperor Zilin called Nalanyan and Kanglan over. Grown-ups. Master. The two said excitedly. Sir, I am really an orphan from heaven. Kanglan looked at Li Bai and asked cautiously, with a pitiful look on his face. Of course. It's just that the original heavenly bloodline in your body has not awakened yet. Li Bai touched Kanglan's little head and said. But, sir, I am a holy lord. I'm afraid, I don't have the strength or the qualifications. Kanglan said anxiously, until now, she has not convinced herself of the fact that it is the way of heaven. If you are not qualified, there will be no one in the entire upper world who is qualified to be a god. Li Bai said with a smile. Lanur, don't be afraid, I will always protect you. After all, I am your protector. Nalanyan comforted Kanglan. That's right, the two of us will always protect you until you have the ability to manage the entire upper realm of eternity. Han Shui and Emperor Shishin also echoed. Sir, if I succeed, will I still be Kanglan? Then, Kanglan asked with tears in her eyes. She was afraid that after becoming Heavenly Dao, she would completely forget about Li Bai. She didn't want to let go of the memories she had with Li Bai. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Benpao de la Chang. Chapter 416. When Li Bai heard these words, he instantly recalled himself from countless epochs ago. In order to gain absolute power, he would rather give up everything and let all living beings be used as pawns. The final result was that he lost himself and created his own evil thoughts clone. Afterwards, Li Bai looked at Kanglan and said slowly. Yes, but not quite. As the Dao of heaven, you will definitely give up some things and some emotions. After all, the Dao of heaven cannot be sentimental or weak, otherwise it will be a disaster for the upper world. However, you will not forget these memories. It's just that, for you, it may only be buried deep in your heart in the future. This is also your responsibility. The way of heaven in the eternal upper world is different from the way of heaven in other worlds. At least you have had this experience in the mortal world, which can be regarded as a good death. Okay, sir, since this is my duty, I will work hard. Kanglan's eyes were filled with joy and joy. After hearing that he would not forget this memory, he gradually relaxed and said seriously that he couldn't bear to part with Xiangda, Ruhua and the others, let alone Li Bai. Okay, the matter is over, there is no need to delay, let's leave quickly. After Li Bai finished speaking, he took Han Shui, Nalan Yan and Kang Lan and left. Only after Li Bai and others left did the emperors dare to speak. This time, we in the upper world finally have the original way of heaven. Yes, but, I don't know if this girl Kanglan can withstand this change of identity, and can she withstand the loneliness of endless eras. After all, after becoming the heavenly Deo, we believe her, after all, she is an orphan of heaven, and you must also believe in the adult's choice. By the way, if you put it this way, wouldn't the Purple Forest Holy Land? Then, the emperors slowly looked at Emperor Zilan. He, it's a fluke, it's just a fluke. Emperor Zilan said modestly, but the corners of his mouth were already grinning to the base of his ears. This matter was simply more exciting for him than becoming the emperor, especially when Li Bai said that Kanglan would not forget this memory. He felt that there must be smoke coming from the ancestral graves. Got it? Although Kanglan no longer belongs to them after becoming the heavenly Deo, but, after all, Kanglan was once a disciple of the Purple Forest Holy Land, and her master Nalanyan was still the Holy Master and Kanglan's protector. Nalanyan can no longer be the Holy Master of the Purple Forest Holy Land, but just such a past is enough to make countless living beings give up some ideas. This piece of shit luck makes me jealous of this damn bitch. Urguzi, who had not played a role in a long time, suddenly said. All of this is fate, you can't force it? Dijun said slowly. On the other side, in the illusory time and space tunnel, under the leadership of Li Bai, everyone slowly descended into a small world. Sir, where is this? Kanglan suddenly felt an extremely familiar yet unfamiliar feeling. She felt as if she was a creature that belonged here. This is the original heavenly world in the upper world. However, it was destroyed by the spirit race at that time, and I restored it. This is the world you will live in the future. Li Bai looked at Kanglan and others and said. That's it? No wonder, I have a familiar yet strange feeling. Kanglan nodded and said. Okay, Kanglan, are you ready? Then, Li Bai asked in a serious tone. Sir, I'm ready. Kanglan said with great determination. Immediately, Li Bai nodded and waved his hand. In an instant, endless light occupied the entire space, and an extremely huge tree slowly appeared. The crown of the tree was large enough to cover half of the sky. And each leaf seems to be every living thing in the upper world. The leaves are uneven and the colors are also very different. Some are still young leaves, budding, while others are extremely green and full of life. Some have gradually withered and yellowed, and are about to fall back to their roots. This is the world tree of the eternal upper realm. Han Shui lamented that with just one tree, she seemed to witness the upcoming fate of countless creatures from all over the world. Yes, it is indeed the world tree. However, the previous world tree has been contaminated by the spirit race. I also spent a little bit of effort to successfully purify it. Okay, take root. After all, this is your original world. Immediately, Li Bai touched the bottom of the tree root and said to the world tree. After hearing Li Bai's words, the world tree shook down, and the dead leaves fell down, as if to express their gratitude to Li Bai. After those dead leaves fell to the ground, they immediately decayed and disappeared, as if they had entered a new reincarnation. Afterwards, countless tree roots shining with fairy light pierced through the land of this world. Buzz. In an instant, endless terrifying visions appeared above the tree canopy, with fairy light lingering, a dense aura, and various golden flowers of the avenue blooming in the sky. At this moment, this world is the real world of heaven. Kanglan, Nalanyan, drop a drop of blood on this tree. Okay, sir. It's the young master. Kanglan and Nalanyan walked to the bottom of the extremely thick tree roots, and obediently dripped their own blood on the exposed roots. The same goes for you too. However, I would like to remind you again that once the drip falls, you must protect Kanglan until the day she can truly become capable. Now, you can regret it? I will not take back the surprise you gave me before. Li Bai faced Han Shui and Emperor Shishan and gave them the last chance to regret it. Sir, we will not regret it? Yes. Well, in that case, shed some blood. From now on, like Nalan Yan, you will become a heavenly clan similar to the fairy land. Later, the two of them also dripped their blood on the world tree. In an instant, everyone felt as if they had a certain connection with the world tree, and they seemed to be able to check at will the fate of every living being in the upper world throughout the ages. Then, Li Bai gently pointed towards Kanglan. In an instant, a ball of light merged into Kanglan's body. In a moment, an extremely majestic aura suddenly erupted around Kanglan, and his whole body was covered with wisps of fairy light. Surrounded? Sir, this is... Nalan Yan asked worriedly. Just wait patiently. With the passage of time, after an unknown amount of time, the ray of fairy light covering Kanglan's body finally gradually faded away. Then, Kanglan slowly opened his eyes. There were too many things in these eyes, but the biggest thing was calmness, unparalleled calmness and majesty, the majesty of a person who controls the creatures in the upper world. Although Kanglan's appearance has not changed much, Han Shui and others can clearly feel that Kanglan's aura and temperament have become different. At this moment, Kanglan is no longer the little girl before, but a Tiandao who truly oversees the upper world. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 417. Sir, thank you. Kanglan said to Li Bai calmly, his expression was no longer the same as before. No need to be like this, after all, the you now is the real you. Yeah, I think so too. Kanglan nodded and said. Don't worry, the three of them will assist you, you don't have to worry too much, I believe that with your ability, you can manage the eternal upper realm. He, I am the heavenly Dao, how can I worry? Kanglan's tone was extremely flat, like a completely different person. But you should switch back to your previous expression, I'm a little uncomfortable. Then, Li Bai said slowly. No problem. In an instant, Kanglan's aura changed, the calmness in his eyes slowly disappeared, and the childish and lively emotions returned, as if he had returned to the familiar Kanglan. Sir, did it succeed? You lied to me that you might give up some things. Kanglan said with a pout. I didn't expect that the original heavenly Dao of the upper realm had two personalities, and you just happened to inherit this. You should also be able to feel the connection between your heart and Kanglan, right? Then, Li Bai asked everyone. Yes, sir, we can feel our responsibilities. Okay, then let's go back first. After all, this world tree needs a little time to adapt to accepting a few of you, and it also needs to feel the breath of Kanglan again. Okay, sir. On the other side, in the heavenly palace of the Fairy Sword Palace. After seeing Li Bai and others return, the emperors asked excitedly. Sir, is it done? Dijun asked quickly. It's done, the world tree has taken root, and the world will has completely merged with Kanglan. Li Bai said slowly. Ha ha ha, great, the heavenly Dao of our upper world has finally returned. We pay homage to the heavenly Dao of the upper world. We pay homage to the heavenly Dao of the upper world. At this moment, all the emperors, even Dijun, bowed respectfully to Kanglan. Ah, no need to do that, you guys hurry up. Kanglan immediately said a little awkwardly. Don't worry, heavenly Dao, we will also monitor the upper and lower worlds for you. Yes, we do the same. Okay, you can talk about these things later. Now, the whole matter of the eternal upper world is over. I should leave too. Then, Li Bai said to the emperors. After hearing this, the emperors suddenly felt extremely uncomfortable, and couldn't tell what it felt like. Although they knew sooner or later that Li Bai did not belong to the upper world, but, the things that Li Bai did, they still couldn't give up. Wow, Master, Goza can't bear to leave you. Master, I can't bear to leave you. Woo woo, Master, I can't bear to leave you either. Kanglan and Na Lanyan's eyes were red, and they said with a lost look. They had never thought about the moment of separation before. Sir, you are leaving now. Dijun also said very reluctantly. Although he knew that Li Bai would leave sooner or later, it was still a little hard to accept. Yes, I will leave after all. After all, to you, I am just a passerby, not belonging to any place. At a certain moment, we will naturally separate. Li Bai said with a smile, without any ripples in his eyes. After all, he has long been accustomed to this kind of separation moment, and he has experienced it countless times. Alas, although that's the case, we still can't bear to leave you, sir. After all, you have done too many important things for our eternal upper realm, destroying the spirit race and returning to the way of heaven. We can't repay such kindness. Yes, sir, we understand the truth, but... Woo woo woo, sir, Niao hasn't stayed with you long enough. Okay, everyone, it's getting late. The road to the 10,000 realms will be opened in a few years. You should focus on it now. What's more, the upper realm is in ruins and you have a lot of things to do. What's more, I'm not dead. We will meet again sooner or later. Since you said this, what can we say? Dijun said with a wry smile. Now he is extremely envious. Yang Hongmei and the others can follow Li Bai, but he can't. There is also the Dijun clan behind him who needs him to sit in charge. Otherwise, he must follow Li Bai. By the way, Dashachun, you stay in the eternal upper realm for the time being and assist Kanglan and the others. When I have news about the wandering, I will inform you. Han Shui, Emperor Shishan, when your mission is completed, come to me. Okay, sir, Dashachun understands. Yes, sir, we understand, and we look forward to that day coming. Han Shui and Emperor Shishan immediately said seriously. Everyone, see you then, maybe we can meet again on the road to the 10,000 realms. Finally, I hope that in the future, you can stand in front of me with a brand new attitude and don't let me down. Woo woo, young master, I will definitely take up the responsibility of the heavenly Dao. We will also assist with all our strength. We respectfully send you off, the eternal world always welcomes you and remembers you, and we hope you won't forget us. We respectfully send you off, the eternal world always welcomes you and remembers you, and we hope you won't forget us. We respectfully send you off, the eternal world always welcomes you and remembers you, and we hope you won't forget us. Finally, all the emperors knelt on the ground, bowed with both hands, and repeated the same sentence, presenting the highest etiquette to Li Bai. This moment was their most sincere, but unattainable wish. These words seemed to penetrate the heavenly palace and sprinkle through the sky into the minds of every living being. Goodbye, everyone. Li Bai nodded, turned around like a breeze, and left with Yang Hong and the other two. Until they left, the words of the emperors kept echoing in the heavenly palace. The arrival of Li Bai brought a storm to the upper world. When the storm disappeared, the sky cleared up, but Li Bai was like a breeze blowing on the face. It seemed that he did not take anything away, but it created an unfillable gap in the hearts of the emperors. Perhaps, this legendary story will be written into the long river of history by the emperors, but, there will never be the three words Li Bai, only a white-clothed lord. And the creatures of the whole eternal upper realm only know that there is such a person. Just as Li Bai said, he is just a passerby traveling in the long river of time. He will not stay for any place or any creature, and will always walk on his own path. The story of the eternal upper realm is finally over. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 418. At this moment, in the deep space universe. My lord, where are we going? Yang Mei said excitedly. No one knew how happy she was now. She destroyed the spirit race, found her parents, and could always stay with Li Bai. There is one thing you need to do. After all, the two creators are the creations of the eternal land. Naturally, they should be used well. Li Bai looked at the three people with a gleam in his eyes and said, My lord, please tell us. We will do our best to complete it. Yang Shan nodded seriously. He was not displeased with Li Bai's last words. After all, being able to work for Li Bai is an opportunity that countless creatures can hardly desire. Then, Li Bai told the three people the detailed plan. After listening, the three people showed a look of horror on their faces. Oh my God, this plan is really, too crazy. In the eyes of others, it is an impossible plan. Sir, does your answer really exist? Xuanhuan Mei asked slowly with a helpless look on her face. From her current perspective, this is something that cannot be accomplished and does not exist in this world. I don't know if it really exists. Even though I have received so much information, I still feel that there is a gap between me and this answer, and there is an insurmountable gap. But I believe that one day, I will find it and reach the end of this road. Li Bai looked into the distance, as if staring at a road with no end in sight. He wanted to reach out and touch it, but he always felt that he was switching back and forth between reality and illusion. Everything was like a dream. In that case, sir, let's just do it first. Yang Hangshan then said immediately without caring about so much. Well, you must be extremely careful. If you encounter any situation, you must report it to me urgently. In addition, I will also let one of my clones cooperate with you. Remember, if there is any life-threatening situation, contact me immediately. Li Bai nodded and said very seriously. Okay, sir, we will remember this. In this case, we will leave first. I believe that we will not let you down. Go. After that, Yang Hangshan disappeared in front of Li Bai with Yang Hongkanyu and Xuanhuan Mei. Xuanhuan Mei looked at Li Bai reluctantly, with countless complex emotions in his eyes, which eventually turned into a wisp of helplessness and delusion. After the three left, Li Bai showed a helpless expression on his face. There were too many things weighing on him now, enough to make him a little breathless. Let me think about how to go next. First, the road to the 10,000 worlds in 2 years, and then, the return of Jushan. These two things are imminent. After that, I have to go to the disordered world I created, and pursue those so-called conspiracies. By the way, the extraterritorial demons in the upper world have not been resolved yet. Forget it, let other clones do this. The matter of the innate originator has not been resolved, and I don't know where my evil clone is. The daughter of the sword fairy, Yuanxu, has not been there yet. The prophecy about the eternal land, the conspiracy of the end world, the fall of the rune world, the place where King Di and others fell, the Dusk Kingdom, the starting point of the road, Xiaju, Wuking, and the most important memory fragments. Damn, there are so many. After a careful recollection, there are dozens of things, big and small, that need Li Bai to solve personally. Haha, I really know how to burden myself. Forget it, anyway, countless epochs have passed, and the last thing I lack is time. Li Bai said after a bitter smile. For now, let's refine that memory fragment first. Then, Li Bai waved his hand and immediately opened up an independent small world. After setting up countless bands, Li Bai slowly took out the memory fragment given by Xiantian Destiny. By the way, who is the creature that Xiantian Destiny said did a lot for me, and even Xiaju couldn't catch up with, exactly? Suddenly, Li Bai thought of this sentence. Although he didn't know who it was, he always felt that it was a creature that was very important to him. This self didn't refer to the current self. Forget it, let's not care about it for now, refine this memory fragment first, let me see what's going on. After saying that, Li Bai sat cross-legged and began to refine this memory fragment. In this way, in this eternal space, only Li Bai was refining this memory fragment alone. During this period, countless powerful creatures passed through this space, but never found Li Bai. In the blink of an eye, 2 years later, that is, 1 month away from the official opening of the road to 10,000 worlds. On this day, a piece of news quickly spread throughout the entire universe, causing countless forces to howl in excitement, just because this news was too shocking. This news was about all the rewards for the Divine King realm of the Road to All Worlds, which were released by the Road to All Worlds Steel. Am I seeing this right? The rewards of the Road to All Worlds this time will drive all the geniuses crazy, and even a bloody storm will be set off in the world to compete for them. I have lived for such a long time and have experienced the road of 10,000 worlds twice, but I have never been as shocked as this time. The Great Emperor's Crown, that is the Great Emperor's Crown. A mortal with no realm can immediately become an emperor by wearing it, and can also be listed on the Eternal Emperor list. It actually, it will appear in the ultimate reward of the God King realm. Countless creatures have lost their language function. Not only that, there are several emperors, and the blood of the 6 top physiques is crazy, it's crazy, the heavens and the worlds, will not suffer any world-destroying war. Soon, some creatures began to worry about the future. After all, with such a reward, it is hard not to doubt whether there will be a crisis coming. Shut up, you crow mouth, you can't stand seeing good things, right? I think what you said makes sense, don't you forget that thing. Hiss, you mean, the prophecy of the War of All Worlds. Maybe this is the precursor. No way, if that's the case, wouldn't all this have lost its meaning? Even if they get these rewards, how can these geniuses grow without enough time? Maybe, if that world can get the Great Emperor's crown, it can get something in this War of All Worlds. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 419. Of course, these are things those old guys care about. The appearance of the Great Emperor's crown has completely made countless geniuses red-eyed. After all, no one can resist the temptation of becoming an emperor immediately and being on the Eternal Emperor list. Immediately, in many ancient areas or forbidden areas, one by one the ancient geniuses who had proclaimed themselves for countless epochs were slowly awakened. At this moment, in a forbidden area in the center of the world, a young man slowly awakened from the source of chaos and came back. Looking at the entire world, there may only be tens of thousands of this kind of chaos god source. Their function is only to seal everything of the genius. When they wake up in a certain era, and in the process of sealing, they can continue to strengthen the sealed person. Although your physical constitution and other talent conditions cannot directly improve your realm, your understanding of the avenues of the era of chaos can deepen a lot. Young master, you are finally awake, I have been waiting for you for a long time. An old slave shouted with great excitement, his eyes full of tears. After all, this young master can be said to be the child he watched grow up, and the realm of this old slave has reached the supreme realm. It's hard to imagine what kind of race, even servants are supreme. Huh, Mr. Ning, what era is it now? How long has it been since I sealed it? After the man opened his eyes, in an instant, the extremely terrifying power continued to spread. The momentum was like a penetrating rainbow, extremely majestic, like the young master of heaven and earth, and at the same time, a faint wisp of quasi-emperor's power continued to spread outwards. Obviously, this young man's realm has reached the level of quasi-emperor. Not only that, his real age is almost the same as that of Xuanhuan and the others. Of course, all this is thanks to the source of chaos. Such a young prodigy has actually reached the quasi-emperor realm. It's unimaginable how terrifying your talent is. If you tell me, you might be afraid of being called a fool. To tell you my story, young master, 7 or 8 eras have passed since you sealed it. The supreme servant said hurriedly, not daring to show any slightness. Didn't I tell my family and you that you can't wake me up unless there is the most suitable time? You'd better give me a reasonable explanation. The man frowned and his tone was extremely cold. These words were clearly spoken by a quasi-emperor, but they made a supreme being sweat profusely. Young master, the perfect time has come. Otherwise, how could I dare to wake you up? When the slave heard the man's words, he immediately said in fear. Say it. Young master, the road to all realms is about to begin. The road to all realms. I remember that in the past, the reward for the road to all realms was the throne. Do you think this is the most suitable time, or is this throne suitable for me? The man's eyes narrowed, and his tone was so cold that it almost condensed into the void. Young master, this time is different. The ultimate reward of the God King realm is the great emperor, the crown. Boom. Suddenly, wisps of terrifying aura erupted from the man's body, and he immediately asked. You sure? Of course, young master, the stone tablet of the road to all realms has already released the news. Ha 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 ha, great. My young master finally waited for the most suitable time. The great emperor's crown is undoubtedly the most suitable thing for my son. Then, the man looked excited and said with a smile. Okay, young master, let's go back to the family first. Our ancestor has been waiting for a long time. Okay, when you go back, go and receive the award yourself. Thank you, young master. When the slave heard this, he was overjoyed and kept kowtowing. This kind of thing is not rare. In the entire world, there are at least hundreds of geniuses awakened by their own families, but only a few have reached the level of quasi-emperor. Immediately, the man followed the slave to a secluded place. Look, Elder Ning actually brought back a person. This is the first time I've seen an outsider. It's really strange. He, what a handsome and elegant little brother. The little girl can't help but move. Damn, there's something wrong with you, you slut. What are you moving, and, what are you doing with your hands? Damn, why are you touching me? Holy crap, that's not right. Come and feel the realm of that creature. Hearing this disciple's horrified tone, countless disciples released their souls to feel the young man's aura. The next moment, the world was dead silent, and countless disciples stared with their eyes wide open, their mouths wide open, and their faces were full of horror. I must have felt wrong. He is actually a quasi-emperor. Such a young quasi-emperor has such incredible talent. Could it be that he is the prodigy of the era? The average genius of the era, at this age, can hardly match the quasi-emperor. It can only be said that his talent is even more terrifying than that of the genius of the era. Who is he? Countless young disciples spoke hesitantly, not daring to look directly at him, as if this man was the most dazzling star in the sky. "Shh, shut up, you don't want to live anymore." At this time, a great emperor elder said fearfully. "What's wrong, elder?" "That young man is, young Master Xuanhuan." Hearing these two words, all the creatures stopped abruptly. As creatures in the hidden world, how could they not know the meaning of these two words? Then, they said nothing and buried their heads deeply. And Emperor Su glanced at everyone lightly and ignored them. They didn't breathe a sigh of relief until Emperor Su entered the ancestral land. "I didn't expect that young Master Su would wake up." "Yes, it's incredible. Didn't young Master Su seal himself for countless eras? How come he suddenly woke up?" "I know, it must be because of the great Emperor's crown of the Road of 10,000 Worlds." "Damn, yes, I almost forgot that in addition to the great Emperor's crown, that thing is also qualified to wake up the young master." At this moment, in the ancestral land, a pioneer ancestor had been waiting for a long time. When he saw Queen Su, the joy on his face could not be concealed at all. "Ha ha ha, my son, you finally woke up," the pioneer ancestor said excitedly. "Grandpa. Grandson, wake up," Su Huang said respectfully. This old man was Su Huang's grandfather, Suwuji, the great emperor of Hokeng Beiwujinji. He was among the pioneers of the entire universe. He was also on the eternal emperor list, although he was at the bottom. Okay, it's good that you woke up, it's good that you woke up." "Grandpa, where are the other ancestors and my parents?" Su Huang asked in confusion. "The other ancestors are still sleeping, but it's estimated that they will wake up. As for your parents..." Suddenly, endless sadness flashed across Suwuji's face. Su Huang also obviously felt something was wrong, and immediately asked hurriedly. "What's wrong, Grandpa? Tell me, your grandson is so worried. Your parents are not in any danger of life, but they are in a dangerous situation. What's wrong, Grandpa?" Hearing this, Su Huang first put his heart at ease. "It's good that there is no worry about life. In order to pave some roads for you in the future, they went to a forbidden place of life, but unexpectedly, they encountered creatures of the Ming clan. In the end, they were sealed in that forbidden place of life by the people of the Ming clan. And we spent countless hours but still couldn't find that forbidden place of life," Suwuji said disappointedly. "The Su clan, the Ming clan, the Ling clan, and the Gu clan are all ancient clans, but the strength of the Su clan ranks above the Ling clan, and below the Gu clan and the Ming clan." Start, Invincible, met the Empress's apprentice. Author, Ben Pao de la Chang. Chapter 420. Ming clan. They are looking for death. The Emperor Su's eyes suddenly turned red, especially after knowing that his parents risked their lives for him. The anger in his heart burst out even more. The creatures of the entire ancient Su clan also felt the burning anger of Emperor Su. What's going on? This anger is so terrible. The anger of the quasi-emperor, could it be, that of the young Master Su? The reason should be the young Master Su's parents. That's right, after all, the young Master Su's parents were killed for the sake of Emperor Su. We can't discuss this matter. I believe that the young Master Su will rescue his parents. My son, don't worry, we will find your parents sooner or later, because they are also my sons. Besides, they are not worried about their lives now. In the hall, Suwuji looked at the extremely angry Emperor Su, and immediately waved his hand to temporarily suppress the anger in Emperor Su's heart, and then slowly comforted him. I know, Grandpa, but I must avenge this grudge. Let's start with the road to 10,000 worlds. I will personally torture the Ming clan's geniuses and make them fall into the abyss of death. The tone of Emperor Su was full of murderous aura. Although it was temporarily suppressed, a trace of it still leaked out. It seems that my son, you already know about the road to 10,000 worlds. Yes, Grandpa, Elder Ning has already told me. What do you think? Suwaji looked at Emperor Su deeply and said, he also knew what kind of temper his grandson had, and he would never let go of this great emperor's crown. I will definitely get the great emperor's crown, and no genius can stop me. The Emperor Su said very firmly, as if the great emperor's crown was already in his pocket. Okay, ha ha ha, you are worthy of being the young master of my Su clan. However, I still want to remind you to be careful of the prodigies in other worlds, they are no worse. Hee, Grandpa, it's not that I am conceited. Apart from our ancient race and the other era prodigies, who else can have the ability to compete with me? By the way, Grandpa, how are the prodigies from the Spirit Clan? Xuanhuan asked slowly. Hee, the Spirit Clan is a thing of the past. Suwaji sneered. Past tense, what do you mean, Grandpa? Xuanhuan asked in confusion. The Spirit Clan has been destroyed, completely destroyed, and that half-step creator has also fallen. Hearing this, Xuanhuang's eyes widened and he said in disbelief. What, the Spirit Clan was destroyed by someone, how is it possible? That ancient race did it? None of them. Suwaji shook his head and said. No way, Grandpa, don't tell me that it was the Daijun clan, they destroyed themselves. Xuanhuang said in shock. To be precise, it was the Upper Realm Imperial clan that united to destroy it. How is it possible? How could those ants destroy an ancient race like the spirit race? Xuanhuang was puzzled. Speaking of which, I didn't believe it either, until I contacted that guy Daijun and finally got a positive answer from him. Grandpa Daijun. However, speaking of which, it's a pity that Daijun is invincible. My friend died too early. Otherwise, he would be so happy to hear that the spirit race was destroyed. By the way, Grandpa Daijun, what did Grandpa Daijun say? Xuanhuang sighed and asked. The spirit race was indeed destroyed by them. Not only that, the original heavenly way of the upper realm also returned. And, behind all this, there is a creature controlling it. Who? The white-clothed emperor. Boom. Xuanhuang's head exploded at once, and the whole person seemed to be in a state of stiffness. The 4 words Emperor in white are his lifelong pursuit, and of course, a pursuit that can never be realized. After all, he was born at the end of the chaos, when Li Bai was the most active, and naturally grew up listening to all the deeds done by Li Bai. Damn it. After a long time, Xuanhuang lost his composure and slowly uttered these 2 words. Okay, this is not the main event I want to tell you. What is that? This time on the road to the 10,000 worlds, your biggest opponent is not those ancient races, nor those so-called epical prodigies, but the fairyland. Suwaji, looking at Xuanhuang, said very seriously. This is also the first time that Xuanhuang has seen this look on his grandfather's face, a look of helplessness and powerlessness. Fairyland. Grandpa, are you trying to say that because of the relationship between Lord Bai and the fairyland, so? That's one aspect. Do you know the Queen of Nanyi? Of course I know the Queen of Nanyi. After all, this happened before I proclaimed myself. Lord Bai's disciple also achieved the status of an emperor with a mortal body. She is called the Queen of Nanyi, the Eternal Queen. I admire her very much. If it were me, I would never be able to achieve the status of an emperor with a mortal body. This matter alone is enough to make the Queen of Nanyi famous for eternity. Xuanhuang said with great respect. At the same time, a beautiful figure of unparalleled elegance appeared in his mind, and a trace of admiration flashed in his eyes. In any era, those who can become emperors in a mortal body without the use of the emperor's crown or the heavenly crown are all people with heaven-defying talents, and no one is unworthy of being called the eternal emperor. In the immortal realm alone, there have been 2 creatures who became emperors in their mortal bodies, one was the mortal heavenly emperor and the other was the Nanyi empress. However, when Empress Nanyi became emperor, she almost made it to the eternal emperor ranking. This incident made Emperor Su feel extremely regretful. In fact, there is no genius in the world who can resist his admiration for Nanyi, and Emperor Su is no exception. However, it is a pity that Empress Nanyi only sees the emperor in white, and everything she does seems to be for the emperor in white. Now in the immortal realm, there is another disciple of Master Bai, and he may be even more terrifying. Although I don't know the specific origin, but it is not easy for anyone to be the disciple of Master Bai. After all, Master Bai has been there until now. Only accepted 2 disciples, and even the invincible emperors such as the Qing Emperor and the Chongtong Emperor did not become the disciples of Lord Bai. However, Emperor Qing and Emperor Chongtong are understandable. After all, they have never thought of becoming Lord Bai's apprentice. In their hearts, they have already regarded Lord Bai as a father-like existence. Alas, it was originally a creation green lotus born in chaos. Without the interference of Master Bai, it might not have waited until it was awakened and it would have become something that some living beings could cultivate. However, with Master Bai's awakening, it became something that the eternal Qing Emperor will shine forever and be famous for generations to come. If he hadn't fallen at this moment, he might have grown into a creature that controls the heavens and the world. As for the Emperor of Double Eyes, he has awakened even more. The eternal talent of the invincible Double Eyes has become the name of countless creatures. Invincible Double Eyes has even led to a saying, once the double pupils appear, no one walks on the invincible road. There is only one pair. Hitomi, invincible forever. These extremely powerful creatures are all produced by the Emperor in white. How can I not be worried? Suwaji's tone was full of regret and emotion, and there was also lingering worry.